Hello, hello. Are we awake? Are we alive on this beautiful Wednesday night? I hope everybody is doing well out there. Hope everybody is running a beautiful business, having a beautiful time in this beautiful time that we are all alive, in the best time to be alive in the history of the world, where we can find stuff that's one step away from the trash and we can list it on the computer and we can make money from the comfort of our own house in air conditioned comfort and beautiful way to live. So I hope everyone is out there. Let's see if some folks are gonna file in. We got some stuff out there. We got the Gamers Toolbox who says, "Crown me." They were first. CM was second. Ohio Thrills was third. Mandy number four. Amy number five. Congratulations, everybody out there. I hope everybody is good. I hope everybody is doing very well. Zane, my man from down under, I sent you a DM. Hit me back. You got to make sure you're quick on the action for that. Otherwise, you snooze, you lose. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing well. Um, as we have been discussing for like the last month, eBay said that they were going to roll out a new condition standard, a new condition update, and that was supposed to roll out worldwide globally on February 4th. February 4th came, February 4th went and left, and there is no worldwide global update to the new pre-owned condition standards. Now, you heard it here first. While they were talking about this big rollout, some guy on the treadmill said they're going to break the website and it ain't going to roll out so quickly like they think. So, what happened? Let's share the screen. According to our fine friends at eBay, update to our new conditions for pre-loved clothing. We recently announced the expansion of the new item condition options for pre-loved clothing listings starting February 4th. That was yesterday. Yesterday, we've made the decision to reschedule the launch of these condition options to assure the best experience possible for our customers. The new condition options will begin mid-February. So they've been rescheduled. Our goal is to give you a seamless selling experience, so we're fine-tuning the new condition options rollout in order to be more efficient and beneficial to your business. With the new condition options, you'll be able to provide buyers with a clearer understanding of your item's condition, reducing the likelihood of returns due to condition-related issues. For more information on the upcoming changes to the pre-loved clothing condition options, check the FAQ from our most recent seller update. Once the new update launches in mid-February, we recommend revising your listings as soon as possible to avoid unnecessary returns and ensure your listings appear in search results. So the update that we've been talking about, I talked about it over a month ago. It first rolled out in Australia, and then was supposed to roll out globally, worldwide on February 4th. It did not. Now, if you go over to the FAQ, the FAQ has changed a little bit. They are talking about introducing the new conditions for pre-loved clothing. These are the three conditions that they've always had: pre-owned excellent, pre-owned good, pre-owned fair. However, all of these definitions, every single one of them, have changed now for the third time. There was the first iteration, the second iteration. This is now the third iteration, the third definition. Pre-owned excellent, like new, previously worn, but with little to no signs of wear, is defined by: this item has been previously worn, however, it's in excellent condition. Any signs of wear should be shown and described in your listing. That's new. Pre-owned good, gently used with light signs of wear and or visible flaws. This item has been gently used but is in good condition. It may have a few signs of wear, but all imperfections should be shown and described in your listing. Pre-owned fair, significantly visible flaws, heavy signs of wear, and or missing or damaged components. This item has significantly visible imperfections and signs of wear. All imperfections should be shown and described in your listings. So these definitions have changed since February 3rd into February 4th. They have also updated some of the steps that we need to do. They, of course, have always told us once this change takes effect, all your pre-owned clothing listings will be automatically updated to pre-owned good. They've always said this. Now they are saying you'll need to review any listings that are changed to pre-owned good to ensure the condition accurately reflects each item. If necessary, revise your listings to select the appropriate condition. So down here in the FAQ, they have a couple new ones added, and they've also updated and revised a couple of them. This is a new one. What happens if I don't update my existing listings once the new conditions are available? If you don't update your listings, inaccurate item conditions may reduce their visibility, as they could be filtered out when buyers search by condition. This might also lead to increased returns and negative feedback from buyers if the item does not match the listed condition, potentially affecting your seller standards. We recommend adding the correct condition for your listings as soon as possible. So right, what I gather from here is inaccurate item conditions may reduce their visibility, as they could be filtered out when buyers search by condition. So up to now, even in Australia, even in the UK, where it has rolled out a little bit, there is no left-hand navigation for the new pre-owned conditions, such as excellent, good, and fair. But they are telling us right here, they could be filtered out when buyers search by condition. So if I had to guess, if I was forced to place a bet, when this does roll out in mid-February, left-hand navigation will be rolled out to search good, fair, and excellent. They're telling us right here that your items may not be visible if buyers search by condition. So if I had to place a bet, yes or no, February 15th, on or around February 15th, mid-February, that's when left-hand navigation is also going to roll out. This is new. What if an item that belongs under pre-owned fair gets updated to pre-owned good? If you have items best represented as pre-owned fair, we recommend updating them as soon as the new item conditions are available to avoid item not as described returns. Please note that it's your responsibility to ensure the correct item condition has been selected in your listings. So at the stroke of midnight, on whatever day, eBay is going to change over every single listing to pre-owned good. They are telling you flat out right here, it is your responsibility to ensure the correct item condition has been selected for your listings. So it is your responsibility to go into your listings and downgrade them from pre-owned good to pre-owned fair. eBay is offering us some protection on this. What if a buyer wants to return an item purchased before the new conditions became available pre-owned February? Mid-February, if a buyer wishes to return a pre-owned clothing item bought before the new conditions become available, the item's condition will be assessed based on the conditioned options that were in place at the time of purchase. This is the update on the protections that they're going to add. Will eBay protect me if a buyer wants to return an item because the item condition wasn't as expected? If eBay's change to your condition grading causes your item not to be as described rates to increase and results in your surface metric rating changing to very high, will automate temporary protections. Please continue to handle any returns to avoid a case closed without seller resolution. So what they're telling us here, if your item not as described metric is assessed to be too high, very high, and you are in jeopardy of being impacted or subjected to a 5% final value fee penalty, eBay will automate temporary protections. What they are probably going to do is eBay is going to allow a grace period of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and not force or make buyers pay the 5% penalty if the condition grading has caused your item not as described defect level to get into the penalty portion. We'll also provide free return labels for eligible item not as described return requests until April 15th, 2025. To qualify, the return must be for an item listed under one of the newly defined pre-owned conditions. So what eBay is telling us, They are going to provide free return shipping labels for items that are returned underneath the item not as described return request up until April 15th, 2025. So if it is a buyer's remorse return, we are going to have to facilitate that if we have free returns. If it is a buyer's remorse return and we do not have free returns, then the buyer would have to pay their own shipping. If it is item not as described, eBay will pay for the return label up until April 15th. The reason why they are doing this is because they are forcing every single listing on the platform to move into pre-owned good, and there will be some pre-owned fair items still commingled with the forced changeover of pre-owned good, and maybe also offering us a little bit of grace to get adjusted to the new condition standards that they have set out. So just to recap quickly, the new condition standards that we've been talking about for over a month, we've recently announced the expansion of the new item condition options for pre-loved clothing listings starting February 4th, which was yesterday. That was when the global rollout was supposed to be. Today, we've made the decision to reschedule these condition options to assure the best experience possible for our customers. The new condition options will start to roll out mid-February. So I know a lot of people had a lot of questions about this. I know a lot of people were ready to rock and roll. But rest assured, it's not coming for another 2 weeks or so. So you got 2 more weeks to get all your ducks in a row. Make sure that you're on the up and up. Make sure that you understand the new condition notes. The condition notes have changed. The definitions have changed. Pre-owned excellent, like new, previously worn, but with little to no signs of wear, defined as this item has been previously worn. However, it's in excellent condition. Any signs of wear should be shown and described in your listing. Pre-owned good, gently used with light signs of wear and or visible flaws, defined as this item has been gently used but is in good condition. It may have a few signs of wear, but all imperfections should be shown and described in your listing. Pre-owned fair, significantly visible flaws, heavy signs of wear, and or missing or damaged components, defined as this item has significantly visible imperfections and signs of wear. All imperfections should be shown and described in your listings. So what do you guys feel about that? We called it here first. I called it here first. I said, hey, I guarantee you this does not roll out in the manner in which they think it's going to. I believe the site's going to break. And for whatever reason, they chose to delay the rollout. Also, we have this. This is part of the first communication which we've received about this. It was part of the seller update. And inside of this, they have the definitions as well. And also they have kind of a grading section where they have broken or missing fasteners. The items fasteners such as buttons or zippers require replacement or repair. None would be excellent. Minor would be good. Pre-owned would be moderate. Discoloration, the vibrancy of the item's original color has changed. None, minor, moderate. Visible wear, the item's fabric is pulling, pilling, thinning, or losing shape. None, minor, moderate. Holes or tears, the item has material holes, tears, or rips. None, minor, moderate. Stains, the item has permanent staining. None, minor, moderate. Loose stitching, this is a new one. The item has irregular stitching, weak or split seams, dangling threads, or hanging hems. None, minor, and moderate. So this is the criteria in which eBay wishes to have all of the items graded based on fasteners and buttons, discoloration, visible wear, holes or tears, stains, loose stitching. So bring all your questions in the chat. As soon as the chat gets beat and we run out of questions, show's over, we're out of here. Adios, amigos, and you'll be looking at the 67 in a week world champion that has beaten the chat. So bring all of your questions, put some question marks before them, 3 or 4 question marks before your question, so that way I do not miss your question. I want to be able to knock out as many questions as you have, help as many people as possible while we're still here on the YouTube machine. So that is the update. They've walked it back for a couple of days. It will be here shortly, but they'll make it happen. My bet is that they were attempting left-hand navigation, couldn't get it to work. Yeah, something happened, obviously, and I think when you make a change of this magnitude to a platform, to a website like eBay, something is always going to go wrong. Something is always going to happen. And on the rollout, somehow, some way, something did not go as planned. So they've stepped it back, and they're going to make a correction. Can you talk a little bit about service metrics? It seems recently that my cases are not falling off like they should be if they are correctly solved. So some people have also been reporting that they've been having a harder time getting those false defects or those false item not as described getting removed from their account. eBay does offer a variety of ways to get these defects removed or challenged or appealed. The easiest way and best way usually is during the return request when you are issuing the refund to report the buyer, state your case, put your policy or rule that they have circumvented or broken inside of the comment box. And when you issue the refund, you report the buyer, the comment gets sent over to a crack staff of highly trained eBay individuals who are supposed to manually, one by one, look through them and take off defects that are not allowed, to appeal those defects when overturn the defect. But for a lot of people, they're saying that the defects are not rolling off in a manner in which they have in the past or should be. So that's really the best way to do it. You could contact eBay on Facebook, which is facebook.com/eBay. Again, you can state your case, have all your ducks in a row, have your policy, but you'll probably have less success doing that. So the best way is still to report the buyer. If you want to, maybe try to reach out to eBay on Facebook, facebook.com/eBay, send them a message, see if they can offer some guidance or some help as well. Yasini in the chat, how you doing? How important will it be that items are listed under excellent versus good? I think excellent is going to get the most amount of traffic, most amount of sales, most amount of conversions. I think good will get a moderate amount. I think fair, like the bottom of the barrel condition where it says defined as an item has significantly visible imperfections and signs of wear. As a buyer, when you're hovering over that condition description that says you are voluntarily about to click left-hand navigation and only see and select only the items that have significantly visible imperfections and signs of wear. Now, if this is not a Carhartt jacket, or if this is not a 3D emblem Harley Davidson shirt, or if this is not a 1986 Metallica Monsters of Rock single stitch band tee, I don't know what items or what customers would voluntarily search for items that have significantly visible imperfections and signs of wear. There's not a lot of shirts, brands, styles, or genres that fall into the bucket of let me go out and search for an item that has significantly visible imperfections and signs of wear. Vineyard Vines doesn't fall into that bucket. Tommy Bahama, neither. Eaton, neither. Most t-shirts, not really. The only items where people are going to seek out something with significantly visible imperfections and signs of wear are going to be vintage, are going to be workwear, and I don't know much else. Also, on the same kind of level of that is I don't know how many buyers are going to voluntarily click on pre-owned good when they have the option and an opportunity to select excellent. So excellent is defined by an item that has been previously worn, however, it's in excellent condition. Pre-owned good, an item that has been previously used but is in good condition. It may have a few signs of wear, but all perfections should be shown and described in your listing. I don't know. As eBay shoppers out there, as people that shop on eBay, are you going to voluntarily sign up to an item that eBay is already telling you before you've even clicked on it, this item is going to contain a flaw, or this item is going to contain a significant flaw. What do you guys think? Mr. Exquisite said maybe the rollout on February 14th will be with the new fees. Yep, eBay is raising the fees in just about every single category as well. They are raising it 0.35% for most folks. And you know, a raise is a raise, but also at the end of the day, if you sell $100,000 this year, that is going to be equivalent to an extra $350 in fees. So it's not the end of the world. They could have risen it much higher, much faster. They could have done a lot more raises in you know, the immediate history of, you know, the length of time that there has been increases. 0.35% again is $350 on $100,000 in sales. So if you sell $200,000 worth of stuff this year, you will have $700 more of fees this year. And if you're selling $200,000 worth of stuff, I promise you, $700 is a rounding error at that point. Do you think you sell more items if you list in detail the recommended item specifics, or just adding a few items specific? It seems other sellers seem to sell a lot with not much detail in theirs. So the more accurate, more pertinent information that you put in will result in your items getting more visibility, especially with buyers who do use left-hand navigation. If you do not fill it out and a buyer does select left-hand navigation, your item will not show up in that search. If you fill it out, but you fill it out incorrectly, and a buyer uses left-hand navigation, you will show up in a wrong search, or you will not show up in that search. So if you fill out item specifics, if they are accurate and they pertain to your listing, the buyer searches left-hand navigation, you will either be excluded if you do not fill it out or you fill it out incorrectly, or you will be included if you do fill it out and fill it out correctly. So technically speaking, and that's all you get here, all you get is the technical, all you get is the objective perspective. If I am talking about a conspiracy theory, I will tell you. If I am giving my opinion, I will tell you. If I am speculating, I will tell you. Technically speaking, if you fill out the item specifics properly versus not filling them out and or filling them out improperly, technically speaking, the listings that fill out item specifics properly will have more sales, technically speaking. Eddie says, so shoe sellers don't need to worry. I would imagine that this is also going to come down the pipeline for shoe sellers in the future. So make sure that you are learning how to grade your items. Make sure that you are picking up only the best that you could pick up, because again, I don't know what kind of velocity, what kind of traffic the lower tier grades are going to get. Very good, very good. So Lupina says, food for thought. When I shop for hotel rooms, I look at 4 and 3 stars, 4 for what I want and 3 for what is in my budget. I think people will filter excellent and good. Yeah, it's going to be tough. We're going to have to see what happens. It's going to be a learning curve. If you do find yourself as someone who maybe picks up items with flaws, and you do see your sales decreasing after this update and change, you're definitely going to have to make a pivot, and you're going to have to forego those items and perhaps maybe pick up items that are in better condition. I cannot find out where I can begin to make these changes now. Please advise. I have great news for you. You cannot make these changes now. These changes will not be available until mid-February when they roll out the update in 100%. So there is nothing for you to do right now. Pink Eagle says, I know I will filter my search to only excellent. Why would I want to buy things in good or fair condition? This is assuming that we will have the ability to filter by condition. So eBay is telling us that if you do not fill it out correctly, that when buyers do filter, you will not be in the correct search. So this will go to left-hand navigation. It does not make any sense to keep left-hand navigation under the umbrella of pre-owned, and then the buyer has to now manually click into every single listing to see if this is good, if this is fair, if this is excellent. If they wanted to keep it like that, they would have not made any changes. And in my belief, I think that they made this change based on, many criteria, but maybe the two most noteworthy criteria is the frustration of a buyer going onto eBay, performing a search, clicking item after item after item after item, all of those items containing flaws. They cannot find one that is in excellent condition, like new condition. They leave the platform, they go somewhere else. It's got to be extremely frustrating for the customer who does want an item in excellent condition, and that's not a lot to ask. They do want an item in excellent condition. However, how many items must they sift through, scroll through, click on, and click out of that are not in excellent condition? It's got to be extremely frustrating. That's one of the criteria that I believe eBay has probably measured and looked at and then made a decision, and what we're seeing as a result of that. Number two, buyers receiving items that are described as being excellent, but showing up with too many flaws, resulting in a return request. Again, another point of frustration. So when you combine shopping through 15, 10, 8, 6, 40 items until you find one that is acceptable and matches the criteria that you're looking for. I'm looking for an excellent item that's not all beat up, that's not too much to ask, in my opinion. There's a lot of frustration there. There's a lot of barriers there. There's a lot of, forcing buyers away. Whereas if a buyer can now click left-hand navigation and go, you know what? I am a buyer that does want something in excellent condition. I can sort by excellent condition and get all of these irrelevant listings off of my feed. That brings the barrier to a sale much, much lower, and will probably result in more clicks and more conversions, which at the end of the day means more sales for us, more final value fees collected by eBay, and more money for everybody all around. And then when we combine that with less returns, hopefully, the buyer frustration on the sale and the buyer frustration on receiving the item is both going to go down and hopefully make the category and the platform a much better place. Why did eBay make this update? Pretty much what I just said. So we knocked out two birds with one stone with that one. May have missed, but I have no option to make the changes yet. You do not have an option to make the change. The change is rolling out mid-February. After purchasing some items, one of them smells like campfire, and all the clothes I wash would smell the same. Any tips? When items do have a smell, we do have a great document inside of the group on how to get rid of smells, how to get rid of stains, how to release wrinkles, all of that. They have some kind of like vodka concoctions that you can use. I've never personally used those. I usually let the item sit out in the sun for a couple of days, and that will, dampen the smell and make the item, sellable and ready to go. So I personally let the item sit outside for a couple of days, maybe a week or two, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Do you think people will downgrade their listed condition to save themselves from item not as described? I think people will do the opposite. I think people are going to overpromise, underdeliver. And I think the best way to do it is underpromise and overdeliver. So always take your photographs as if there's no listing description, and always make a listing description as if there's no photographs. If you want to overpromise, underdeliver, I think that your return rate is going to go up and your feedback and your seller metrics will be impacted. If you underpromise and overdeliver, I think that in the long run, that seller will have better success on the platform. Is this being done to footwear also? I think eventually this will roll out to footwear, just not today. What would an excellent condition dress that is missing the belt that can be worn without the belt go under? It's a great question. So again, the definitions are in chat. Help us out. What would you say? A great condition dress, excellent condition dress that is missing a belt that can be worn without a belt. What would you say? Was that in pre-owned excellent? An item that has been previously worn, however, it is in excellent condition. Would that be pre-owned good? An item that has been gently used but is in good condition and may have some signs of wear? Or would that be in pre-owned fair? Because the definition for pre-owned fair is significantly visible flaws, heavy signs of wear, and or missing or damaged components. And that's where the question comes in on the missing or damaged components portion. So what does the chat say? What would an excellent condition dress that is missing a belt but can be worn without a belt go under? Is it possible to bulk edit the condition description, not item description? You can. You could use the bulk editor. It's going to be tedious. eBay does offer 3 solutions on the page on how to edit your listings. They say that you can revise your listings from selling activity in My eBay or your active listings in Seller Hub. You can also revise your listings in the bulk using our bulk listing tool. In the meantime, we recognize familiarizing yourself with the new item condition and reviewing your listings to identify which need to be updated. So again, you could revise them in selling activity. You could revise them in My eBay under your active listings in the Seller Hub, or you can revise them in bulk using one of the bulk listing tools. Do you ever pour milk before cereal? No, never. It's always cereal before milk. What happens with items that are already listed with the new parameters that are going to roll out? You're going to have to manually go through and make sure that they are listed correctly. As eBay has said, quote, it is your responsibility. You're going to have to manually go through them and decide, is this pre-owned excellent? Is this pre-owned good? Or is this pre-owned fair? Every single listing on eBay.com in the clothing categories that are affected by this update are going to be instantaneously rolled into pre-owned good. It is your job, your responsibility, your duty, your obligation to bring them from pre-owned good to pre-owned fair, pre-owned good to pre-owned excellent, if you wish. I'm going to Honolulu in 13 days. Do you happen to know of any good places to thrift over there? I do not, my friend. I've never been there. But if anyone has any good spots in Honolulu, put them in the chat for our good friend T Trip. This isn't about the update, but my question is, vintage items that are unopened, new, but has box damage, is it better to keep in box or do without box? Most times it's better to keep it in the box. Photograph the box, photograph the damage. You could look on eBay, look at the market, depending on what the item is. If the item has no really diminishing returns without the box, then take it out of the box and photograph it as is. Stacy said, just tuned in. Will our listings be hidden until we make the changes? They will not. Every single listing will go over by default to pre-owned good. The Pokemon dentist said late to the chat, what did you miss? Just go to the beginning. It's right there. You didn't miss much. Do you recommend the box on racks method or rack method for a clothing seller? I think both of them have their pros and cons. The rack system, as I did it, it is faster. In my opinion, it is less susceptible to mistakes or failure because there is no SKU number to keep up with. You can see the entire item, what versus the item being in a bag folded up or a colored bag, and you can't see inside of it. However, it does take up more space. Where the bin or box method takes up less space, it is a little bit slower because you have to bag items and put a SKU. And unless you are double checking, triple checking to make sure that the item that is already inside of your bag is the same item that you're going to ship, it would technically be more susceptible to sending out the wrong item. However, both of them work, but double checking, triple checking is the key. Luna says, this isn't live yet, right? It is not. It is coming out mid-February, as eBay has announced yesterday. It was supposed to come out yesterday, but now it is coming out mid-February. So what eBay did, I guess either they've rolled it out and they figured out the website was going to break, which was my guess about a month and a half ago when we first talked about this, or they needed to provide more clarification on the definitions because they saw that there was too much room for error, there was too much up for interpretation, and they have revised the condition definitions. But I think that the rollout didn't go as planned in regards to the website because rolling out new left-hand navigation is a humongous task for a website like eBay. So they'll get it done, not worried about it, but just know that it's going to be a bumpy road. Whenever eBay rolls out any sort of update with this kind of magnitude, or any of the seller updates, fall, spring, winter, summer, it's always a little bit bumpy for a couple of days. It'll be okay. It'll course correct, but it's a little bit bumpy. If you are listing an item that has all types of issue, why even list it if it's going to go to the bottom of the list with less traction, pretty much wasting your time, just my opinion from D. That's to be seen. So the market is going to dictate what is worth the time and what is a waste of time. If items in that specific condition category do not get traction and do not sell through in the same capacity or close to the same capacity as pre-owned good and pre-owned excellent, then what you're saying very well could be true. If there is no diminishing returns in terms of sell-through and maybe even price, because if you go to some of the media categories, you go to the video game category, you go to the cassette category, there is really no difference in price when people downgrade the grade. You can get Super Smash Brothers in mint condition for the same price that people are wanting and charging and asking for the lowest condition. And it's the same for all the other categories. So are people going to drop the price when the condition is dropped? Or are they going to ask the same price regardless of the condition? If you want my opinion, I think people are going to keep the prices the same because in their mind, they've paid X, so they need to sell it for X. It is not the customer's problem. It is not eBay's problem what you've paid for the item. If you've paid too much for the item and the condition is not up to par in accordance to what you have paid for the item, that is your fault. That is not the customer's fault. That is not eBay's fault. That is not the market's fault. That's your fault for paying that amount of money for that item that is in that kind of condition. Now, on the flip side, for what D is saying, there are items where it is acceptable to sell them in condition, which is acceptable. Carhartt jackets, Dickies with paint all over them, Harley shirts, band tees, concert shirts, skater shirts. You know, there's a lot of items out there that people will accept and will buy in acceptable condition and still pay good money for it. Inglewood Deal says, jumping on and hit the like button. We'll catch the replay. Shout out to you. Everyone hit the thumbs up button. It's right here underneath the screen. The most amount of thumbs up we've ever had before is 850. That's the world record. It's been the world record since May of last year, May 1st of last year. That's been the world record. So hopefully one of these days we can beat the world record. It costs you nothing to hit the thumbs up, and we will have a gigantic celebration. I might flip the table over if we could beat the world record. There's going to be like 4,000 people that come in and out of here in the next hour. Hit the thumbs up. Let's beat a world record, and let's go crazy today. Let's try to beat a world. I want to win at something today. What do you tell international buyers when they don't get an update within a month? If you have sent it through eBay International Shipping, which is the rebranded eBay Global Shipping Program, you tell them, please contact eBay and eBay will handle it. eBay will handle it. They will cover you against any items that take too long, against anything that gets caught up in customs, against anything that gets damaged, against any even returns, whether it's your fault or not. eBay International Shipping Program will cover you and has your back every single day of the week, so long that it has made it to the eBay International Shipping Program sorting facility. Once you get it there, you go like this, no problem. eBay handles the rest. If you have shipped it directly, and you got to get on the horn and you got to start filling out missing mail claims. And right now, international mail, right now and going forward, is going to be a little bit of a mess. So if you are shipping directly, you're a little bit more braver than I am. So hopefully you've shipped it via eBay International Shipping Program. and you can push them over to eBay, and eBay can handle it for you. Kayla, how you doing? Good to see you on a late night chat. Do you think it's fair to assume that these types of condition descriptions will eventually make their way to the shoe category? They will make their way to the shoe category without a doubt. I don't think buyers will look at many categories to begin with. What do you guys think? Do you guys think buyers, this is what is going to happen. A buyer is going to go on eBay. eBay has spent a lot of money, a lot of time improving the website, informing and educating the sellers. They will inform and educate the buyers as well. I would not be surprised if you search Nike shirt. There's a box that's going to pop up in the middle of the screen. The back of the screen is going to go dark, and it's going to say, "Hello, we've streamlined the buyer flow. Please search by condition. Excellent, defined. Good, defined. Fair, defined." Going forward, you can always use left-hand navigation to make sure that you get the exact item that you're looking for, and you have a satisfactory transaction with us at eBay. Thank you for shopping on eBay. And they're going to go like one of these. If eBay is spending this much time, money, and effort to make this kind of change, they are educating us. They will also educate the buyer. Otherwise, why would they even make the change? What do you think? I think they would have a whole lot less trouble with the condition of buyers if they would put the condition description visible on the app. Yeah, hopefully that rolls out. The app is a little bit tough, condition notes. So yeah, hopefully that will also get an overhaul and upgrade as well. Do you end sell similar on items that have not sold after a few months? Does that seem to help items get back to the top of search? Me personally, I do not. I think that the most important thing would be to fix the listing, change the listing, show eBay, or give eBay a reason why they should show it to a new data set of customers, a new crowd of customers, to take this water bottle off the shelf, make no changes, and put it right back on the shelf and expect something different to happen. To me, it's not logical. But to take this water bottle off the shelf, maybe turn it so the label is facing out so the customer can see what brand it is, that stands a better chance of someone purchasing the item. But to take an item, if you had a brick and mortar store and on Friday you took every single item and put it in the parking lot, and took every single item and put it right into the exact same spot and expected a different result on Saturday morning, why would that work? To think that we can take everything off the shelf, trick, fool a multi-billion-dollar algorithm, I think our time is better spent revising our listings, correcting maybe bad photos, putting better, more accurate, more pertinent, more targeted keywords, maybe making a better offer by reducing the price, maybe offering a coupon, maybe running a sales event, maybe offering a more enticing shipping offer, maybe offering a more enticing return offer, maybe looking at your item specific, see which one is wrong, which one can be corrected, which ones can be added, which ones can be improved on, maybe improving our description. I think doing that, whether you want to revise the item and do that, whether you want to end the item and do that, whether you want to delist the item and do that, so long as you are making a pertinent, concerted effort into making the listing better, making the listing more attractive, making the listing more enticing, that will work leaps and bounds every single day of the week over taking your whole entire eBay store out to the parking lot and putting it right back into the store in the exact same place without making any improvements or upgrades. I'm trying to figure out if this men's brand logo, it looks like this. Oh, XXX, that's going to be Rhone probably, RHONE. Glad I finally caught the live. We appreciate you. What was your first day not having to list 120 items like? I don't know. The same as always. I wake up and get to do exactly what I want every single day of my life for a very long time and for the rest of my life. So if tomorrow I want to list 120, that's what I'll do. If I don't want to, then that's not what I'm going to do. So, when I was listing 120 a day, that's what I wanted to do. So my days are like every other day. I get the freedom, the option, and opportunity to wake up and do exactly what I want to do. And I am not required to do anything that I do not want to do. The reason why I come on here live every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, depending on where I am in the world, is because I want to. So if I'm in California, I might come on here at 5 p.m. EST. It doesn't matter. I wake up and do whatever I want every single day of my life. And that is the ultimate blessing of running an eBay business that, you know, if you make smart investments, you're wise with your money, you redeploy your capital, you continuously move forward, you continuously try to be positive and productive. You know, hopefully we can all get to a point where, you know, time is on our side. So my day every single day is a beautiful day. Do you think most people will put excellent and point out a mark in the listing and photo instead of listing as good? Time will tell, my friend. Do I think that this will become or is a policy violation? Absolutely. Is this a candidate for somebody to report the listing? Absolutely. So, you know, we're going to have to see how it plays out. Sold my first item today. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. I have heard if you do hit the thumbs up button right here, a sale follows soon after. Does it help to add relevant keywords to the theme, item specific, custom ones, for instance, like whiskers for jeans? You have to be careful with adding things to item specifics, because again, this can become a policy violation if it does cross over into keyword spamming or keyword stuffing. eBay does have a policy against keyword spamming, keyword stuffing. So please be sure that every single item specific that you are selecting in your listing is pertinent and accurate to the listing that you're putting up. You do not want to disqualify yourself from certain left-hand navigation searches, and you also do not want to show yourself in left-hand navigation searches that do not apply to your listing. So what happens if you have a bunch of stuff in item specifics and you are relevant in a bunch of different item specific searches, but your item is not relevant? What that shows eBay is someone has clicked this item specific, passed by your item, they did not click it. That's like a downgrade. Someone has clicked this item specific, they've passed by your listing. That's a downgrade. You are telling eBay that every single time that your listing comes up in this particular search, in this particular sort, that nobody wants your listing. So why would eBay continue to show your listings in those sorts or searches when for 100 times previously, people have looked at your item, left it, did not click, did not convert, did not purchase it? So when you want to stuff, when you want to spam, when you want to put a bunch of information inside of your listing that is not accurate, not pertinent, it is not good for your listing, because you are showing, demonstrating, telling eBay that show my item to this customer and they will not want it. And that's why your items drop in search. eBay gives your items a search. eBay has a democratic shared impressions. They share the impressions with everybody. Everybody gets a chance. But when your item gets a chance and it has no interaction, no click, the buyer's not spending time on your listing, they're not looking at your photos, they're not looking at your description, they're not sending an offer, they're not watching it, they're not doing anything, eBay shows your item has been skipped. Nobody wants it. And if your item continuously gets skipped, why would eBay continuously put it to the top of search? So please, if we are going to add keywords, if we are going to add things in item specifics, make sure that you are not going to have a listing that shows up in searches where it's not desired. Imagine I put the wrong item specific of this blue shirt and I put red. Every single time somebody clicks red on left-hand navigation, my blue shirt will show up. There is nobody who is going to voluntarily select red and say, you know what? Out of the 10,000 red shirts that eBay has presented me and ones that I am looking for, I'm going to disregard all of those and buy this blue one. It's not going to happen. So what you're telling eBay, and eBay is a robot, it's a machine, that when someone clicks red, they don't buy my item. So your item will go down in search. They will not continuously show a blue item in a red search because the data and the information is wrong. So please keep this in mind when we are building the listings. My man Zach, Third Eye Finds, how are we doing, my man? How do you think this will affect trying to source by sniping on eBay when the change comes? Whenever you want to snipe or whenever you want to source online, you always have to be better than the worst listers. So, you just got to be better than the people that are listing the items. What we will need to start to consider once left-hand navigation does come into effect is we may have to segregate our sell-throughs based on certain items' performance at different condition levels, but that is yet to be seen. Very good. How do I go about setting my work day? I have 1 day handling, live on the East Coast, and I have some things sell after midnight. I have to ship it that day after I wake up, even though it is same day. So on your seller preferences, shipping preferences, if you go to the top left-hand corner, your name's going to be there. You click your name, it goes to account settings. You go to seller preferences, you go to shipping preferences. In there, even if you have same day handling time, you can turn off your cutoff time. So if an item sells at 8 o'clock and your cutoff time is 7, that item gets shipped the next day. If an item sells at 7:01 and your cutoff time is 7, that item can be shipped the next day. So if you are worried about your cutoff time, you can go to top left-hand corner of the homepage. It will have a drop down. Click account settings, seller preferences, shipping preferences, handling time cutoff, and from there you can change your handling time. I've got smoke smell out of a camcorder bag by putting them in a box with baking soda 24 hours. Very good. Where are we? At your peak of listing 200 items a day, what was the average sell-through rate of the items that you were listing? So I've run many different iterations of the business. At 250 items per day, my average sell-through store-wide was 6 months. Inside of that store, did I have items that sold through much quickly? Yes, obviously. But with 50,000 items listed, I sold over 100,000 items per year. So my store turned over 2 times per year, and that was the metric criteria that I was looking for. When I was listing 120 items per day and selling 120 items per day, my sell-through that I was targeting was 90 days, 3 months sell-through. So at 250 listings per day, my store sold through 2 times a year, and it was a 6-month sell-through at 250 items listed and sold per day. So a buyer can return an item as item not as described, saying that it was supposed to have a belt or chain. Absolutely, they could. A buyer can return an item for item not as described, even if it is accurately described. It's up to you to go in there and report the buyer, let eBay know what policy they misused, why this was a misuse or circumvention of the eBay policy, and have eBay remove that false defect. Do you still get items for rag houses or not anymore? I get items from everywhere. Everywhere, my friend. Rag house, thrift store, garage sale, flea market, raining from the sky in Florida. Apparently, we get them from everywhere. How do you feel about selling on Whatnot and getting items off quicker versus selling on eBay, waiting forever to sell? Oh, I mean, forever needs to be defined, and forever is a little bit of an exaggeration. It just depends. Do you want to get closer to the actual cash value of the shirt by doing less of the work? That's the price that you're going to get. Do you want to get to the actual resale value of the item? That's going to require more work and more time. So if you want to take no photos, do no listings, do not store it, have next to no customer service, the price is going to be in accordance. If you want to do listings, make a professional, title, make a professional listing, have photos, have a 60-day free return policy, have customer service, you will get more money. So it depends on how much work you want to do. If you want to do some of the work, you're going to get some of the money. If you want to do all of the work, you're going to get all of the money. What's the future of reselling in the clothing category? I think that there's plenty of money to be made in the clothing category, especially with the secondhand market expected to, triple, quadruple, quadruple, in the next, 10 or 20 years. Hundreds of billions of dollars are expected to start pouring into the category on top of what is already there now. I think that AI will provide, some benefits and also some pitfalls. I think that brands will get more protective over their secondhand pre-owned items. And I think that, of course, the competition is going to rise in and at from the thrift store. And we're seeing it all the time. 5 years ago, I talked about stuff that's happening today. In 5 years from now, stuff that we're talking about today will happen. I came out with a podcast on Friday. Check that one out. And I talked about like the top 3 dangers to reselling, not just with clothing, but for every single category. And we could go back to that podcast in 5 years, 7 years from now, and see how it held up. Hello from Ireland. Shout out to Ireland. Let's go. How many solds do you go through approximately per month? What does that mean? How many solds? What do you mean, Mr. Mark? Does the new pre-owned condition apply to all categories? The categories that it does apply to are the women's clothing, men's clothing, kids clothing, unisex kids clothing, baby and toddler, women's vintage clothing, men's vintage clothing, children's vintage clothing, specialty clothing, fancy dress and period costume, wedding and formal occasion, and world and traditional clothing. What is the fastest fall of a brand you've ever seen? The fastest fall of a brand. Nat Nass was pretty quick. Nat Nass was popping for a little while. Charlie Sheen kind of made him popping real good on like what was it, 2.5 Men? And for whatever reason, those are really next to worthless. Like Nat Nash used to be able to get like $50 for those things. Nat Nash fell off pretty hard. I haven't experienced the condition issue yet. I haven't listed in a week. About to load up tonight. What should I be cautious about? Nothing. It's not rolling out until mid-February. They've pushed it back. Grace and Mercy. Chad says a great analogy for the video games. People still want top dollar no matter the condition. It's going to be no different in clothing. The cash value as an item. What would you get for a 7-day auction? Is there a good way to find the cash value you mentioned? A good way is to do a search on eBay and sort by auction and see how many bidders are there for your particular item. So if there's listings that end with no bids or 1 bid, that pretty much answers that. If there's listings that when you click on the listing, it says 27 bids, then at least there is some kind of demand for it, and maybe you can expect a higher price. Karen says they want to see me flip the table. That we got to beat the record. What is the record? What's the next state? We have to go to Las Vegas in March, I believe. So probably March. We've just been hanging out. Phoenix Resale came down here like a month ago. Arwen was here for 2 weeks a week ago. And I think right before that, somebody else was here. So like in the last 2 months or so, we've had like 3 people come. We're gonna do a couple little quick trips in the meantime, but I think in March we're gonna go to Nevada. eBay should have vintage categories. I have great news for you. They do, my friend. They've had vintage categories for a while. If eBay see no traffic in fair, will they get rid of it? People will have to list better items. Time will tell. I think there will be traffic, but I think that the conversion will probably be slower. What did you decide to list the price for the Portnoy Solar Bears jersey? Chad, you should know I don't list any clothing. I still have it at my warehouse. I haven't done anything with it. Some people are saying crazy prices, like $10,000. I don't know. It's probably something that you would list high. It's either going to sell very quickly or it's going to take a little while to sell. So I don't know. I'd probably list it for a couple $1,000 and then see what happens. But I'm not going to be the one to list it. Somebody else will. Not a question. I will delist any items I deem fair before 2.5 and will relist once the change happens. I'd rather spend my time on 2.5 fixing items that are good and above. I'm not mad at that. Is there a way to file a damage claim with USPS within the eBay app? No, you have to go to USPS.com. Zach says, this is a great question from Zach. Eagles or Chiefs? Everyone, there's 484 people in the chat. Light up the chat. What do you guys think? Eagles or Chiefs? Should we do a live cast during the Super Bowl? Should we answer eBay questions during the Super Bowl? You think people would show up and talk eBay with the big game in the back? Eagles or Chiefs? Put it in the chat. Andrea said the intro to your first video is insanely hard. I appreciate that. I've been listening to all of your videos all day, creating drafts for the whole week. Very good. Will your brick and mortar store be open, or are you retiring from that too? So the lease for the brick and mortar store was timed to end a year after the lease for my warehouse ended. So the lease for that ends up in August. It was timed and calculated to end a year after in case I needed to sell some stuff over there, or, you know, in the event that maybe I had too much stuff, you know, liquidate some stuff over there, but I didn't have to utilize it for that. So I have to make the determination whether or not I still need it. Everything in my life I need. The things that I don't need are not in my life. There's nothing in this room because I don't need anything in this room. I have about 4 t-shirts because that's all that I need. I have a couple of hats, but I usually wear this one every single day because that's the one that I need. I have no furniture because we don't need furniture. So like if I don't need something, then I'm not going to have it. And if I can find cool vintage stuff or acquire cool vintage stuff and put it on a pallet, then I don't need it. So I'll make the decision coming up. If I need it, I'll keep it. If I don't need it, and it ain't going to be here. So I am someone that only keeps stuff that can be utilized. If it cannot be utilized, I throw it in the garbage and get rid of it and move on and don't think twice. Andrea said, whatever happened to the new pre-owned condition? I thought I was going live yesterday. Please go right back to the beginning of this call, and we talked about it right at the beginning. They have pushed it back to mid-February. How do you fall out of theme and item descriptions? How do you fill out theme and item descriptions? There are so many options in there, and I just pick what I think someone would do with it. Sounds like it may be better to pick less words. If there's nothing in there that applies to it, you can skip it and leave it blank. Wally says, does your group help with tax season? So inside of the group, we have a bookkeeper, accountant, that hosts a call on Thursdays, and she will sit in there and she will answer every single tax question, every single numbers question until the cows come home. This is someone that I provide out of my own pocket for everybody to utilize in the group. If we did not have an accountant, nobody would leave. But we have an accountant. It's extra. I provide it for everybody in the group because I think it is a great use of people's time to go in there and understand the numbers, understand their business. So yes, we do have an accountant on Thursdays. She has recorded calls in the group. The oldest, very first call in her section is Basics to Bookkeeping. If you watch that one, you will know where to get every single number you need on eBay. You will learn how to make your deductions. You will know what can be used as a deduction. You will learn about home office. You will learn about tracking miles. We have it all. It's in the group. No charge. I pay for the accountant. You guys get to use the accountant. You cannot anywhere on earth talk to an accountant for $1. You cannot. I pay for the accountant. You guys get to use it. In addition to that, we have a spreadsheet that James Boldfines, our friend in the UK, and Gene Queen has graciously spent their time and made for all of us to use this year. We are going over it tomorrow morning on the morning call. We are going to meet the 5th of every single month, and we are going to look at all of our numbers. We'll make sure we're tracking, make sure we're moving in the right direction, make sure we are taking actionable steps to meet the goals that we have set out. So today was the 5th, but the 5th we do show and tell. Show and tell is never going to be moved. Show and tell is our BOLO call on Wednesdays. So if the 5th ever falls on a Wednesday, we're going to do the spreadsheet on the 6th. So tomorrow we're going to do the spreadsheet, make sure everyone's got it, make sure everyone's filled it out. It's very simple. It's very comprehensive. It's got fancy graphs and numbers and sections. It is a work of art. We also have Robert, who does the beginner call. And this morning he went over the spreadsheet, filled it out with a bunch of people. He'll hold as many hands as need to be held. So we have everything that you need in the group all the way including all the way up to an accountant and a bookkeeper. Did you keep track of what thrift store times of days gave you the best items? No, I knew what stores were going to perform in the manners that I needed them to perform on average. So I hit them early and I hit them often. Chase said, I'm late. What's the update? Just go back to the beginning. There's a ton of excellent information that you could catch up on. I sent a buyer an offer at a specific percentage, and eBay later resent the same discounted offer to an interested buyer. How can I control the percentage sent to interested buyers? So you most likely have automatic offers turned on, and you can go to your active screen, and inside of your active screen, if you go to the right, there's a little table of kind of contents over there, kind of like some check boxes you could do, filters. And inside of the filters, you can click offers. And then inside of offers sending automatically. And you can see which one of your listings have automatic offers enabled. And that's what's going on. Took a chance, traveled an hour and a half to a bigger city to the thrift today, found stuff I never thought I would. It's funny how that works, huh? Will these China tariffs affect the global shipping program? eBay will figure it out. That's their job. Spotted a new old stock Packers Pro Line hat today, besides some other hats at the thrift. Thanks for all the info. Absolutely, man. We have the hat deep dive in the group. If you watch the deep dive on hats, that could pay for the entire group. It pays for a lot of people's entire group, just one call. I don't know why I got no options for pre-owned categories. Like we've said a few times in the call today, it has been pushed back to mid-February, has been delayed. That's the breaking news that we're talking about today. It's been delayed until mid-February. Are we going to have to manually update the description of all of our items? Yes, you are going to have to manually. This is a manual update for everybody. You're going to have to manually do the update. How does packages coming from China and Japan being stopped? Would it help bring buyers to eBay instead of Temu? Time will tell, my friend. All right. A lot of people saying the Chiefs are going to win. Very good. Any other hobbies? Just total world domination and everything that I do pretty much. What car do you drive? I don't have a car anymore. Like during COVID, like I stopped driving entirely. So like I don't have a car in my name anymore. So I gave my car to my son. I just have Bill and Ted. I got my 2 feet. That's where I go. Manu, the French guy, how you doing? What are your thoughts about buying storage units for sourcing on eBay? I think that they can be good. However, you do become somebody that is going to process and facilitate a lot of items that are not in the particular niche that you're looking for. If you buy clothing, now you got refrigerators and couches. So there may be some heavy lifting involved, but like you can absolutely run a great, fantastic reselling business by buying storage units. KT Treasures, they're in the group. They're doing fantastic. They've paid off their house. Like they're making moves, and they source via storage units. So it's a little bit different, but at the end of the day, the money is still green. I had a question. I recently thrifted a head red embroidered downhill skier on the front fleece quarter zip, but can't find anything about it. You'd have to send me a photograph of it. Is it possible to sell on eBay business, one day? Technically speaking, selling an eBay account is against rules. You can sell a business that the business owns the eBay account. That is allowed. Usually most eBay businesses are worth the actual cash value of the inventory that they hold. There's not much proprietary that deserves to pay a multiple in terms of an eBay business. Not many people have a proprietary software. Not many people are in charge, in control of their customers. Not many eBay businesses own the real estate or the building that they're working out of. So the only thing that would be for sale is the inventory on hand, and it would be at a liquidation, fire sale, actual cash value price. If you have something proprietary, if you have control of your customers and their data, which eBay doesn't allow or give us, or if you owned the real estate that your business was running out of, then you may have value to sell. Other than that, it's the actual cash value of the inventory that you have. We are almost done with the chat. And once we're done with the chat, it is a wrap, my friend. That will be it. It'll be game over. Do you like ices? I love ices. I like the like. I hit the like button. Just got a sale. Very good. Do you know of any successful eBay sellers in Asia considering moving my store to Taiwan one day? Rashan, he's in the group. He's in Japan. He does a fantastic job. So there are people in every single continent, every single country, you know, doing very well. We have Manu from France. We have Arwen from the UK. We have people in the group, you know, our friend who did the podcast with us from Germany. We have people from Scotland killing it, people from Wales killing it. Eduardo from Panama, he's in the group. We have Mel in Australia, Tom in Australia. We have a guy in Australia who's doing like $700,000 in clothing. Sam from Australia, people from Canada. We have some people in Mexico. We have people all over the world inside of the group crushing it. So, you know, your location, there's pros and cons and everything, but like we can make it happen. What's an icy? An icy is like a Slurpee, a slushy. They're great. If you live in South Florida and if you ever dug holes in the month of August, there's nothing better in the world than walking into 7-Eleven and collecting an icy. So we have beat the chat. 67 in a week world champion is this guy. 67 week in a row. No losses. We have beat the chat. Thank you for everybody tuning in. I hope the update was helpful for all of you guys. We'll see everybody next week. Adios. Be great. Thank you.